Russo friends, welcome back to Opus Elenae, where traveling sometimes has consequences. Thank you for all of your patience while I drank gallons of tea and recovered most of my voice after my post-war case of dust, pollen, and smoke-induced bronchitis. Just after golf last year, my friend Gwen of Lobster Rose Pottery and I agreed to do an art trade. She said she'd make me something cool, and I agreed to make her a London hood with cat ears. We agreed on delivery at Gulf War 2025, and I proceeded to completely backburner the project like a true professional. About 6 weeks ago, however, I figured I'd probably need to get some more specifics before I started in on the project, so we chatted a bit about what she was looking for in a hood. Ears, something cool like dagging, ears, not too long of a lyra pipe, some combination of gold, purple, red, or black, ears. With this comprehensive list of requirements, I was ready to get started. So everyone go grab your cuppa. Today, as I have been all week, I am drinking tabletop tea's Clarke with lots and lots of honey. Let's get into it. There are a couple of other patterns out there for medieval hoods with ears, but since I was planning on a completely different hem treatment and I have a perfectly good London hood pattern already, I figured I'd just use what I have. Despite my eagerness to be done with Harvest Gold after the coif project finished up, I found some purple wool that paired extremely well with another piece of gold linen I had, and I just couldn't resist. I'm making the setup in the usual way, so I'm not going to go too deeply into the details of its construction. If that's something you're interested in though, I have a whole playlist of London hood videos that walk you through the process in more detail, as well as a Go Day setting tutorial video. I'm not even bothering to use the pattern for the wool layer, I'm just using the lining as a guide and adding the lyra pipe at the end by eye. To make the scallop dagging, I'll measure how tall I want the curves to be. Spoiler, I'll completely change my mind and make them much shallower later. Then I will calculate the width of the scallops by measuring the hem between the front seam and the cut line for gore insertion and using that as a guide for the rest of the curves. They're not all perfectly equal, but it's close enough to be visually pleasing. Time to add the gores. Again, I'm just using the lining as a guide for the fashion layer. Once the gore points are secure, I'll head over to my machine to sew the back seams of the hood and the remainder of the gores. Work smarter, not harder. Then I will fell all of the interior seams for added security. This linen especially is very prone to fraying. Work harder, not, well, you know what I mean. I'll start on the front edge of the hood and sew around the neck and front edge. Gwen wanted a front opening hood instead of a closed one, around the dagged hem, and up the other side of the front, leaving a small opening to turn the hood. In order to get the dag points as sharp as possible, I'll need to grade the seams around the points to remove excess fabric and clip the allowances along the curves. Right sides out, I'm using my bone folder and a bamboo knitting needle to push the points and lyra pipe all the way down. William had been trapped behind the steering wheel, suspended upside down on the remote. The night air was filled with yellow, adding to that Thank you to all of my current and continuing Ko-fi members. Your support and the support of all of my members on Croissants makes it easier to do what I do and provide quality content for everyone. Thank you so much. Stick around after this brief commercial break to see the finishing touches. Obviously, the next step is a good pressing. I cannot overstress the importance of ironing along the way. I used to hate it, and it's still not my favorite step, but it makes such a difference. I will make sure to press the unsewn opening as well, so it's easy to hand sew it closed. I'm using gold buttons from an old coat hardy that no longer fits me and spacing them evenly along the front opening. After that, I'll start on the buttonholes. I could just sew them on the machine, but I really wanted the hand-sewn look. So first, I marked out the buttonholes and I'm sewing around them with a running stitch just to keep the fabric in place while I work. Once all the stay stitching is done, I'll cut open the holes with my very favorite pinking tool and sew a buttonhole stitch around the entire opening. For that, I'm using some silk embroidery thread that's a match for the purple because I didn't have any matching buttonhole twist. order to get the ear placement correct, I'll need to try on the hood, which is way cuter than even I expected. I've cut out some ear templates from scrap paper to test size and placement. After playing around a little bit, I ended up cutting the bottom of the ear so that the inside edge is shorter than the outside. This makes the ears more vertical instead of sticking out diagonally. Once that's done, I'll cut the canvas interlining out and pin them to the hood for one more check. I'm super happy with it, so I will mark the placement with tailor's chalk. I'm going to cover the canvas with purple wool on the back side, folding the edge of the fabric over to the front and securing it with a small running stitch. I'm trying to make sure that the ear stays curved while I sew, just to give the finished piece a little more stability and accuracy. Once the wool is done, I'll cut out the linen lining piece and fold the edges in towards the center and baste it in place. Then I will attach it to the ear with tiny felling stitches before removing the basting stitches. To attach the ears to the hood, I'm going to do 2 lines of stitches, one on the lining side with gold thread and one on the wool side with purple thread. This is going to make that connection super secure and help the ears stand up. The attachment line is also curved to match the ear, so it will be less floppy than a flat piece of fabric. Now it's time for some fun secret extras. Because we were looking at medieval jesters, I thought it might be fun to add some more details that pull from that. I'm starting with sewing some lobster claw jewelry findings on the inside of each dag to act as attachment points. Attachment points for what, you may ask? Bells and tassels. I'm using some modern brass jingle bells and adding jump rings to them so they can be clipped to the lobster claws. In addition, I am making some gold tassels from pearl cotton thread, tied with the same purple silk thread that I use for the buttonholes. They will also get jump rings for attachment. Time to pack everything up and hope she likes it.
This is Gwen. Okay, so first of all, here is your hood.
Okay. I've been waiting for this. Yes! Okay.
So the ears are made with only canvas, no stiffening, so they can be washed delicately because this is all wool.
Okay.
But you won't like take any sizing out of it. And then it needs to be lint rolled. Sorry about
I
that.
love it so much.
And it's got a little scallopy bit. And if you'll notice on the inside of the scallopy bits, there are hooks.
Oh.
So you talked about Jester things. So I made you a set of bells to go on there and a set of tassels to go on there.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
Or you can wear it plain because they don't show from the outside.
Great. This is awesome. I love it so much.
It saves some space, except when you go home. On the way home, I have rest.
There you go.
True.
I love it. I love it so much.
Okay. And
I have yours.
Oh, that's adorable. That's adorable.
I love
And
it so much.
it has a lyre pipe, but it is not long. I tried to make it not too long. And I couldn't figure out, I was gonna put a hook on here too, so that you could have another one on the end, but I couldn't figure out to make it invisible. So I figured the points would be enough. Good?
I love it so
I'm
much.
glad.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And these actually are left over from a dress that I made for myself.
Oh,
And all
perfect.
of the buttonholes are hand bound, so they're done. Exactly.
I love it so
Exactly.
much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm
thank
glad.
Another hug.
If you're wondering what the art trade was for, my half of it was this amazing water jug with 4 matching cups. And I'll put Gwen's link in the description too, so you can check her out. You can support the channel in the usual ways: watch, share, subscribe, drop a tip in the Ko-fi if you want, but definitely join the Discord. Until next time, be kind, do the work, continue supporting marginalized people, and keep creating. Quill.